And I'm here with
Safo.
The news is live from our studio at number 11, Dr. Morton Loop in Adabraka, Accra. Coming up, Private Health Facilities Association of Ghana threatens to stop accepting private health insurance over the non-payment of arrears.
It wouldn't be long. We will take them on. We will not accept their cards when their clients visit our facilities. We do not even need them to survive as a healthcare service provider.
Also coming up, calls intensify for the government to reverse the implementation of a 15% VAT on electricity tariffs as it will negatively impact the poor.
The consumer is tired. This year alone, from the first of the year, there's been more than 20 taxes introduced.
Still ahead, NDC flag bearer John Mahama affirms his choice to refrain from pursuing legal action in future elections, citing a historical lack of justice. And later, Ghana begins its journey to end the over 40-year AFCON Trophy drought as the 34th edition of the African Cup of Nations kicks off tomorrow.
I think the coach should by now know what to do, how to handle the players. The time is too short for us to make any changes. To win the cup, I'm not too sure about that.
The news is live from our studio at Adabraka in Accra and live on a number of our partner stations across the country. In the Western region, we're on Premier FM 100.5 in Takrady and Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady. In the Bono region, Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani Ashanti region, Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi. Volta region, Akpini Radio 96.7 in Pando, Heritage FM 107.3 in Hohoi. In the northern region, Dasuma 99.1 in Yendi. Upper East, Word FM 88.3 in Zwarungu. Upper West, West Link 88.1 FM in Laura. And in the northeast region, we are on Eagle FM 94.1 in Wale. You can also hear us across the globe on citinewsroom.com.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for your time this afternoon. Now, tax consultant Francis Timoboy has criticized the government's implementation of a 15% value-added tax on electricity tariffs, deeming it regressive. The move, aimed at increasing revenue and complying with an IMF directive, has long been part of government plans. Analysts express concerns that this tax may disproportionately impact the poor and lead to business closures. Here is Francis Timoboy speaking to Citi News.
Right now, if you buy ECG, whether via their app, you realize that you don't see the taxes on them. Currently, it is only the commercial pitches of power. They pay the VAT on them. So when you have a postpaid and you receive your bill, you see that there are taxes on them. So it's a matter of implementation that we are seeing now. I agree with you, yes, this looks more regressive because there was a reason why we introduced the exemption. And you realize that over the years, the cost of power, even before the VAT, has increased so high, such that today the lifeline is no more a lifeline. So we can say that it's been in the law, and the implementation was not forthcoming. That's why the ministry has issued this, directive that they should immediately start implementing something that has been in the law over there.
That was tax consultant Francis Timoboy speaking to Citi News, and he has criticized the government's implementation of a 15% value-added tax on electricity tariffs, deeming it regressive. Now, he says that the concerns that this tax may disproportionately impact the poor and lead to business closure. When asked on the Citi Breakfast Show whether the 15% VAT on electricity tariffs should be eliminated or revised, Mr. Timobo advocated for a reduction to alleviate the burden on the public while still contributing to government revenue.
We currently have a flat rate VAT for some categories of businesses. So we could classify electricity as essential commodity and say, look, instead of the levies, 6%, the VAT rate of 15%. Let's come to a consensus and say, look, we can do 10% or whichever rate we want. So at least we can still accommodate the automatic adjustment. Otherwise, it's going to make the price of power so high in this country. And like VAT being regressive, the ordinary person is the one going to suffer. And like Khaled said, people will find means of avoiding it if they can.
Should the government scrap it? Should they suspend it? Should they amend it? In the circumstance, what do you think can be done?
I'll go with your first proposal and say that, look, let's have a flat rate or a reviewed rate, especially for electricity. After all, we know we only have one supplier who does it, so it becomes easier. Now, in terms of scrapping or making it completely exempt, I do not agree, because VAT on electricity is not only in Ghana, it's a global thing. And if you look at our tax system, indirect tax constitutes the largest. Over 60% of our tax revenue comes from indirect tax. So taking it off completely would hurt government revenue.
Tax consultant Francis Timoboy.
Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of the Consumer Protection Agency, Kofi Kapito, has urged the government to reconsider its decision to implement the 15% VAT on utility tariffs. He contends that the Ghanaian taxpayer is already burdened with excessive taxes and cannot withstand the additional impact. Mr. Kapito expressed these concerns during an interview with Citi News.
We currently have a flat rate VAT for some categories of businesses. So we could classify electricity as essential commodity and say, look, instead of the levies, 6%, the VAT rate of 15%, let's come to a consensus and say, look, we can do 10% or whichever rate we want. So at least we can still accommodate the automatic adjustment. Otherwise, it's going to make the price of power so high in this country. And like VAT being regressive, the ordinary person is the one going to suffer. And like Khaled said, people will find means of avoiding it if they can.
Should the government scrap it? Should they suspend it? Should they amend it? In the circumstance, what do you...
We apologize for the inset. We'll bring you that inset later. But that was the CEO of the Consumer Protection Agency, Kofi Kapito.
Now, the Private Health Facilities Association of Ghana has threatened to cease accepting private health insurance from private companies. This decision is prompted by the National Health Insurance Authority's failure in regulatory oversight, leading to private insurance companies neglecting the payment of arrears. The inability to settle these arrears has resulted in challenges for the association, affecting salary payments and the procurement of medical and non-medical consumables. Speaking with Citi News, the General Secretary of the association, Frank Tobu, emphasizes that the grace period has long expired, making it the government's responsibility to ensure prompt payments by these private insurance companies.
It wouldn't be long. We will take them on. We will not accept their cards when their clients visit our facilities. And I made it categorically clear that we do not even need them to survive as a healthcare service provider. But then they need us to be in business. And I give you an example of the fact that, one, just as you and I speaking, assuming without admitting that it's a fact, you collapse. The first point of call is a hospital, not to an insurance company. Now, when you are taken to a hospital, we have the first and onerous responsibility to ensure that you are resuscitated, after which we then ask for your health insurance card if you have. If you don't have, we then ask you to pay for the services we have provided to resuscitate you. That is the situation we have at hand. So those companies that have been signing on to these private health insurance companies thinking that they are safe, I can tell you for sure that they are not safe at all. They are not safe. Because when we trigger that we are no longer going to accept them in our facilities, premised on the cards from the insurance companies they are bringing to our facilities, that is when they will begin to see the real danger of what their insurance companies are doing. You see, it is the responsibility of the government to ensure that whichever company they give a credential to or accreditation or license to operate as a private health insurance company in this country live up to expectation. And that is what government is not doing. Government, I'm referring to the National Health Insurance Authority.
You heard that the General Secretary of the Private Health Facilities Association, Frank Tobu.
A 40-year-old man, Osman Abdullah, is currently on trial at the Asokore Mampong District Court for his suspected involvement in a car theft captured by CCTV cameras installed by National Security near a garage. Abdullah, a former employee at the airport runabout garage, is accused of stealing a Hyundai Elantra from the fleet of cars. Police reports indicate that on December 19, 2023, around midnight, Abdullah was observed making a phone call while another individual drove the stolen vehicle from the garage. The incident was recorded by closed-circuit television cameras strategically placed within the Ashanti region, serving as crucial evidence in court. Abdulaziz Mahama, the garage owner situated around the Kumasi airport, promptly alerted the police and the National Investigation Bureau to aid in locating the stolen vehicle.
The American free court one say, "Car na ira free garage no." And ne sebi we are in the modern world. And na CCTV camera be aye o mine dia. Ti misre Ghana ban.
I am okay with the bill conditions. I don't control the laws. But what I am seeking the court to do is to ensure that the security agencies responsible use their intelligence to find the missing vehicle. I am appealing to the Inspector General of Police and the authorities to help find the vehicle. I have had the opportunity to watch the CCTV footage. I have seen the suspect in the footage, and that was the basis for his arrest. The car was taken away at midnight on that said day. I am appealing to the national security and the government to track and retrieve the vehicle.
But me garage hon man or 24/7. The minister Ghana ban no masa national security. Camera wo ba bia anti kwan a car no fa so pie a yekohu central ne de o mun trezi na car no yenhu.
Abdulaziz Mahama is the garage owner around the Kumasi airport. In the meantime, John Breffo, the legal representative for the accused, vehemently denies the theft allegations against his client.
So you just suspect somebody of stealing. Not even suspect, because you present a fact. You said he was talking to another person, and that other person entered the garage and drove away the car. Do you understand? That is the scenario. So how can you turn around and say he has stolen the car? So nobody can attack my clients. No, nobody. On the face of the facts, no, nobody can hold him responsible for the car. They must go and locate the person. Because if they have the footage, they should be able to trace that person who entered the garage and drove away the car.
John Breffo is lawyer for the man accused of stealing a car from the garage. The court has granted bail to the amount of 120,000 Ghana cedis with two sureties to Osman Abdullah. He is expected to appear in court on February 2, 2024.
Now, the flag bearer of the opposition National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, has asserted his decision not to pursue legal challenges for future election results, citing a historical lack of justice in such matters. Despite this stance, he remains optimistic about winning the 2024 polls and urged the party to maintain vigilance during the electoral process, striving for a 95% vote share in the upcoming elections. Mr. Mahama conveyed these sentiments during his address at Juje in the Volta region as part of his Building the Ghana We Want tour.
If loses, they should go to the Supreme Court. I'm not going to the Supreme Court because I know I'm not going to lose. Maybe that person will rather go to the Supreme Court. Elections are going to be decided at the polling station and the collation center. And that is where NDC is going to be. We won't go to the Supreme Court again because we know we will not get justice there. We're going to police this election. It is going to be the best police election in the history of Ghana. And we're going to follow the results every step of the way until the final result is declared. And so, let us get our loins. I'm happy Honorable Agbeli said we can do even more than 85%. And so from today we have changed the target. It's Operation 95%. And I assure you that your comrades in other constituencies are going to work as hard as you. And so let us get our loins. We're going to enter every house in this country and carry the message of redemption, of rescue of our nation to the people of this country. Ketu.
John Dramani Mahama is flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress.
The New Patriotic Party has asserted that it has no intentions of rigging the 2024 election in the Volta region. The statement follows a warning from the Minority Chief Whip in Parliament, Governor Kwame Agbuja, cautioning against any party contemplating election rigging. The MP for Adaklu advised such individuals to prepare their wills before attempting such action. The Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party, Richard Ahiagba, described Mr. Agbuja's comments as unfortunate in an interview.
That's a most unfortunate comment by my good friend and brother, Governor Abuja. But the point needs to be made that there hasn't been a time in this country's history, especially this Fourth Republic, involving the New Patriotic Party where we rigged any election. There is no record of it. It didn't happen. It cannot happen. It will not happen. Now, he's referring to violence that happened in the 2020 elections. I tell you as a matter of fact, if you check the police records, it will tell you that all those issues are under investigation. Some of them have been concluded and the people have been dealt with. And so the allegation that something had been done in the nature of seeking to rig the election is not true. Now, you know, create an atmosphere of fear and potential violence for the 2024 election. If they want to bring violence to the 2024 election, they should rather be warned.
You heard the Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party, Richard Ahiagba.
The Inspector General of Police, George Ekufu-Dampare, along with the Police Management Board, have visited the Ashanti region to commend police officers for ensuring maximum security during the Christmas and New Year period. During the visit, the police administration reiterated the call for professionalism, strongly cautioning officers against accepting bribes in the line of duty. The IGP and top police officials credited the police visibility team for the heightened security in the Ashanti region. Public Affairs Director of the Ghana Police Service, Chief Superintendent Grace Ansa Akrofi, shared insights with journalists after the IGP's interaction with police officers at the Ashanti Regional Police Headquarters.
The Inspector General of Police and members of the Police Management Board came to Kumasi today to appreciate all police officers in the region, especially our visibility patrols, for the hard work, the dedication, their presence throughout the Christmas season. We believe everybody in Kumasi can testify to the fact that our men were out there morning, day and night, making sure that everybody that was on the streets was safe and everybody in their homes, in the communities, the police had you covered. This is part of the police transformational agenda led by the Inspector General, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, and his management members to make sure that we take policing closer to the people and that we are able to position ourselves to serve the public better. Throughout the Christmas festivities, we got feedback from the people of Kumasi about how happy they were with the performance of our men and how it made them feel safe. And so the IG led his management members to come and appreciate the men, encourage them and urge them to do more, because we are here to serve you and we only want to serve you better.
You heard the Public Affairs Director of the Ghana Police Service, Chief Superintendent Grace Ansa Akrofi. As part of the visit, the IGP is also expected to meet their Santeheno Tumfor sites to the second and later engage with members of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA.
The head of local government service, Dr. Nana Tuatha, is encouraging metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to actively engage in establishing sister city partnerships both domestically and internationally. This initiative is designed to promote learning and facilitate the exchange of knowledge. Addressing a press briefing organized by the local government service, Dr. Tuatha underscored the vital role that sister city partnerships play in fostering global networking and development. He emphasized the importance of nurturing these relationships for the overall progress and collaboration within the local government sector.
We're not only looking at external Here in Ghana, Accra can have a Star City partnership with Kumasi, or Cape Coast can have in Takrady. What are some of the things that Cape Coast is doing well that Takrady is not doing well? That's what I did indicate that. From our performance contract ranking, we have the first 10, for instance, to partner the last 10. The last 10 should be able to learn from the first 10. What did they do right? And these are what we refer to sister city, sister district, sister community partnerships. So it's not only at the international level, also within local, we're also encouraging that one for those who are not doing well to learn from those doing well. Like the data centers, we're encouraging a number of assemblies to learn from Adenta Municipal Assembly. And these are what we call partnerships.
You heard the head of local government service, Dr. Nana Ato Arthur.
You're still listening to Citi Prime News. My name is Zoe Abubedu Ado, and I'm here with
Eno Safo.
Still to come, the African Centre for Parliamentary Affairs advises Parliament to reconsider its decision to seek legal interpretation over President Akufo-Addo's stance on private members' bill. We'll bring you the details of this story shortly. Please stay.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Citi TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117, and on HD+, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV. Citi TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD+ boxes. Citi TV, it's your world.
Embark on an unforgettable road trip across 14 diverse and vibrant regions of Ghana in just 8 days on the Heritage Caravan 2024. Get ready to immerse yourself in the rich culture, breathtaking landscapes, and the warm heritage-laced hospitality Ghana has to offer. From the Greater Accra region to the Volta region, to the Eastern region, to the Bono region, Ahafu region, Bono East region, to the Upper East region, to the Northern region, to the Savannah region, to the Northeast region, to the Ashanti region, to the Western North region, the Western region, the Central region, and back to the Greater Accra region. The Heritage Caravan will last for 8 days from Sunday the 3rd of March to Sunday the 10th of March 2024. An expedition full of excitement, education, information, wonderful memories, and great bonding moments awaits you. Call 0205-973-973 to register for the Heritage Caravan 2024 now. This is a journey of a lifetime to discover Ghana. The Heritage Caravan 2024 is powered by Citi TV with support from 97.3 Citi FM. Terms and conditions apply.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, the African Centre for Parliamentary Affairs, ACEPA, is advising Parliament to reconsider its decision to seek legal interpretation over President Akufo-Addo's stance on private members' bill. The President declined to sign the Criminal Offences Bill of 2022, the Witchcraft Bill, and the Armed Forces Bill of 2023, citing financial implications as his reason. However, Speaker of Parliament Alban Gbagwin announced Parliament's intention to seek court clarification on the matter. Executive Director of ACEPA, Dr. Rashid Rahman, disagrees with this move.
Between the 7th Parliament and up until now, there were a number of private members' bills that were signed into law. All those bills, I believe, if you want to stretch the argument, have some impact on the consolidated fund and all the issues. So I think in brief, what I'm saying is that I don't want to get involved in the legalities or otherwise, because for me, I get worried when the court gets involved and tries to come into the space of Parliament. I think it's not good for our democracy, because the independence of the legislature, I think, must be respected. And if parliamentarians are united, I think we will not have this foray into their space by any other branch of government. I doubt if this is going to change anything. I'm not too sure what kind of verdict the Right Honorable Speaker is going to get, but I am doubtful about whether that is going to change anything, given that the President has made his pronouncement already. Maybe rather than make that attempt, I would think that maybe we should rather look at how Parliament can get united so that they can speak with one voice.
Executive Director of the African Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Draman.
The first Deputy Minority Whip in Parliament, Ahmed Ibrahim, says the decision by 18 members of Parliament from the Majority Caucus not to seek re-election in the upcoming NPP primaries would have severe consequences on the institutional capacity of Parliament. As the NPP heads to primary select parliamentary candidates for the 2024 general elections, 18 incumbent MPs have declared their intent not to contest in the polls, whereas 18 NDC incumbent MPs were also kicked out in the NDC primaries. Speaking to journalists, Ahmed Ibrahim charged ruling governments to take appropriate steps in salvaging such occurrences. There's more in the following report by Citi News' Ni Ayikwe Okan.
In the National Democratic Congress NDC primaries held on May 13, 2023, 18 sitting MPs were voted against. As the NPP prepares for its parliamentary primaries on January 27, 2024, 18 incumbent MPs have declared their intent not to contest, including prominent figures such as the Majority Leader Osei Mensah Bonsu, First Deputy Speaker Joseph Osei Owusu, Samuel Atachian, Member of Parliament for Ebuakwa South, Joe Gatti, Esikado Ketana MP, and Kennedy Ejapon, Asin Central MP. Speaking to journalists, the First Deputy Minority Whip in Parliament, Ahmed Ibrahim, bemoaned the impact of the loss of such experienced legislators on the institutional capacity of Parliament.
The exit of Osei Mensah Bonsu, who was trained by J.H. Mensah, are you saying it is not going to have negative impact on Parliament? Osei Mensah Bonsu is not a lawyer, but he was a columnist. He's a planner. But when he's on his feet arguing, if you don't research your law well, he will disgrace you. This is the kind of person we are losing. So as for representation, you get somebody to represent you. But as for replacement, you cannot replace the institutional memory and capacity of the exiting MPs. And that is how Parliament is going to be negatively affected. We take you, invest in you, and throw you out. The nation is losing. Me sitting here, I may be young. By my capacity, the capacity that Parliament or Ghana has built in me, and where they've taken me to, I've not given half of my capacity to the country. So clearly, if me, sitting here, 16 years in Parliament, know very well that the nation has invested in me and I must give back to the society, and I've not even done half, how much more Osei Mensah? How much more Joe Wise? How much more Kennedy Ejapon? Kennedy is a practical politician. When he's speaking business, he speaks, and when he's in good days and you meet him, you know that this is a man of sense. You may not like him, but put all other things aside. He says it as it is, and he's more practical and frantic, and that's why he's progressing.
He highlighted the underutilization of experienced MPs by the government as a contributing factor to the decision taken by the 18 MPs from the majority group.
Even where appointments are to be made, they are not correctly made. Look at the Jogati. You see Jogati? You see Kwame Enyimedu entry. Which post is he holding? 0. Jogati, which post? 0. Is that not there? I can mention names of seniors to you. Jogati was a former Attorney General, isn't it? A former Deputy Speaker. But he is there. No. Look, even now, when in Parliament, there are certain people when they are speaking, whether you like it or not, you have to bow and learn. But his party is not using him. So he sees himself as being underutilized. And do you think that when that happens, he will contest again? He will not. Kwame Enyimadu Enchi was a lecturer from Tech. He is here. They left him and took a first time as Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General in those days. Enyimadu Enchi is still there. The law lecturer. 16 years in Parliament. Joe Oseusu. Oseusu's mate was Enin Yeboah. If Joe Oseusu was to be remain in the law legal fraternity, he would have been, his colleague became a Chief Justice and has retired. Are we using the way we have to use them? So clearly, there is underutilization, either out of discrimination or victimization. And when that happens, some people will opt out.
That report on the minority on exit of 18 NPP MPs was filed by City News' Ni Ayikwe Okan.
The National Appeals Committee of the New Patriotic Party is set to announce a decision in the coming days regarding Bimbela parliamentary aspirant Alhaji Ahmed Zaruk Nuhu. He had accused the party leadership in Bimbela of attempting to disqualify him as he challenged Defence Minister Dominic Nitiwo. Alhaji Zaruk Nuhu appeared before the party's appeals committee yesterday after petitioning against the actions of the constituency executives. The committee's recommendation will determine whether Alhaji Zaruk Nuhu will be allowed to contest on January 27 or if Defence Minister Dominic Nitiwo will go unopposed.
A Sin Central Member of Parliament, Kennedy Ejapong, has alleged that Bantama MP and Minister for Works and Housing, Francis Asenso-Boakye, accepted bribes from investors seeking access to the president during his tenure as Deputy Chief of Staff. Mr. Ejapong made these claims while addressing delegates in Bantama campaigning for his brother, Ralph Opoku Ejapong, who's contesting against Asenso-Boakye in the NPP parliamentary primaries scheduled for January 27. Mr. Ejapong further warned that if Mr. Asenso-Boakye were elected, he would expose damning details of alleged corrupt activities by the Bantama MP.
The Chinese, if one or demanded 20,000, and normally that I stopped it.
Remember my rant about NPP appointees at the Jubilee House smearing the president's name? I was referring to Asenso-Boakye.
I was referring to Asenso today. I'm telling you. I was referring to Asenso. You should be ashamed of yourself to go and vote for a corrupt MP like Asenso again. I'm telling you. I don't miss words. I don't care how you feel. That is the gospel truth. Because cannot face. If you don't want me to talk, vote against him. If you want me to talk, vote for him. And I challenge all of you. Because your mama said Ghana.
Asin Central MP Kennedy Ejapong.
Away from politics now, and the Ghana National Fire Service is yet to finalize investigations into the cause of fire that occurred at the Domain Market on Sunday, January 4, 2023. The incident impacted over 50 shops, causing significant damage to goods. An official from the Public Relations Department of the Ghana National Fire Service, ADO2 Alex Nate, speaking to City News, expressed confidence in concluding the investigation soon.
Investigations are still ongoing. As you had mentioned earlier, we're still suspecting some elements of arson in there. So it's not conclusive yet. And, with fires like this, the investigations do not come out just like in a day or in a week. Because it involves multiple shops, investigations need to be thorough. So for now, it's still in progress, and we're hoping that in a few weeks' time, we should be able to come up with the results of our investigation.
You had a member of the Public Relations Department of the Ghana National Fire Service Headquarters, ADO2 Alex Nate.
Still on the fire service, with the commissioning of a mechanized borehole for the Nkoko Fire Station in the Kwahu West Municipality, the Ghana National Fire Service has assured of an end to the challenge of running out of water at fire scenes. Previously, firefighters faced delays as they traveled long distances to refill fire engines, impacting response time and firefighting effectiveness. Now, personnel at the Nkoko Fire Station can quickly return to a station with a 24-hour water supply, eliminating the need to rely on hydrants or travel for refills. Following the commissioning by Hot Lotteries, Eastern Regional Fire Service Commander ACFO Jennifer Na Yale emphasized the significance of the mechanized borehole, urging civil society groups to support other fire stations in obtaining boreholes for operational efficiency.
You know, we normally face the issue of going or traveling long distance for replenishing, to refill the fire engines. When they fight fires and then they run out of water, they travel long distances to get water. So now that we have this project here, or this borehole at the district, it's going to solve the problem of traveling long distance to get water for firefighting. We are going to get constant water supply. Fireman has the idea that now there's a mechanized borehole at Nkoko Fire Station. So Nkoko firefighters, when they go to scenes and they have issues, they will just come back to the station. That one, they are assured that they will have water. They wouldn't have to go to a place where they will say, oh, the hydrant is not having pressure, so they have to wait for some minutes or hours before they come. And that's why when they come, it is just constant water flow. So I'll urge other civil society organizations, individuals, both home and abroad, should come together and then support every district. I just want to hammer the idea of the chief officer that there's a need for us to get the mechanized boreholes. They should come to our aid. When we get these things, I believe firefighting will be easy for all of us.
ACFO Jennifer Na Yale also called on school heads to allow personnel to conduct fire safety education for students, particularly in dormitories and hostels, aiming to reduce fire incidents as schools resume academic activities.
So in schools, they are reopening new admissions. I know every school has rules and regulations. They have electricity that provides them with power or illuminates the place in the evening for the kids to be able to learn. I will appeal to house masters and mistresses that they should check the items that they bring to school.
You heard Eastern Regional Fire Service Commander ACFO Jennifer Na Yale.
The National Association of Institutional Suppliers is demanding the prompt settlement of all outstanding debts owed them by the government. The group asserts that government payments for the supply of uniforms and house dresses to various senior high schools have been pending for 3 years. Expressing frustration, they highlight that instead of clearing these debts, the government has opted to engage private suppliers this year. Spokesperson for the group, Emmanuel Aibo, emphasized the need for immediate payment.
So we are talking about 3 years from now. To clarify it, as we speak, those who are in final year will be completing this year. Some are wearing uniforms that government have not paid. Information reaching us now is that some private companies are actually being engaged by the government to supply. Governments knowing very well that they own us, and that once they pay us, we will get the money to supply. They refuse to pay us, and they've decided to engage private businessmen who will do the supply for this year. This means that we are losing it all because the investment that we've made for about 3 years back, capitals have been locked, and government has refused not to pay us. And now, instead of paying us, they've gone ahead to award a contract to a private enterprise. Then it means that they are shutting down our businesses. They've locked up our capitals, and there is no hope for us. And this is worrying. Our demand is that government should, as a matter of urgency, just pay us. Once they pay us and they decide to even give the contract to some other entity. That's no problem with that.
Emmanuel Aibo is a spokesperson for the concerned members of the National Institution of Suppliers. This is still Citi Prime News. Still ahead in the bulletin, the 34th edition of the African Cup of Nations kicks off tomorrow. We'll bring you a report as Ghana begins its journey to end the over 40-year AFCON Trophy drought. Stay with us. We'll bring you the details shortly.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Are you looking for a residential football academy for your boys between the ages of 10 and 17 years, where the boys will study in school and at the same time develop his football talent of becoming a professional footballer? Legon Hills Sports Academy offers a state-of-the-art secured hostel facility situated at Adjingano, East Legon, Accra, with a dedicated caterer equipped with swimming pool, DSTV, and comfortable student beds. Players of Legon Hills Sports Academy are led by UEFA License B and CAF License A head coach. For more inquiries and information, call or send a WhatsApp message to Legon Hills Sports Academy on 024-8612-622 or email us at dkday@yahoo.com.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally.
Hi, my name is Stephen Appiah, the team coordinator of the Black Stars. I always like to keep hydrated naturally, every day, any day. S Natural Mineral Water does the trick.
Manufactured through a double purification process to produce pure, natural drinking water. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural. For bulk purchase, call 0596 273 546 or 0596 273 547. This advert is FDA approved.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You all come back. This is still Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. Now, the National Democratic Congress flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, has added his voice to calls for the removal of the value-added tax imposed on electricity. The government implemented this VAT on a specific section of electricity consumers as outlined in a letter to the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company. During his Building the Ghana We Want tour in the Volta region, John Mahama expressed concerns that this tax will render the cost of doing business in Ghana unbearable.
Today, Dumso, they are kicking it like a football. Why? Because he wants to kick it over the 7th January 2025 line and hand the trouble over to somebody else. And yet we resolved it before they came into office. Today, they put value-added tax on electricity bills and COVID levy, NHIL levy, GET Fund levy, all on electricity bills. And so that is going to send the cost of your electricity bills up. Already there was a 29% increase, there was a 19% increase, then they tried to fool us with a 4% decrease, and now it's going up again astronomically. And it's making Ghana a very difficult place to do business. All business people are complaining. I mean, the owner of this hotel who has given us this resource to do this meeting, you should ask him how much he's paying in electricity bill. And yet, because of the mismanagement of the president and his cousin and his vice president, it has plunged all of us into a difficult situation. Year on year, budgets went up by 82 billion cedis. And so, if you reduce the rise of the budget in terms of expenditure, then you could reduce the incidence of tax. You might not need to place a value-added tax on electricity so that you pass the relief on to the people of Ghana.
You heard the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama.
Contrary to media reports, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union has denied reversing its decision to raise transport fares by 60% or more after the passage of the emission levy bill. GPRTU's Public Relations Officer Abasi Moro clarifies the union's stance in a report by City News' Philip Nilati.
The recently passed emissions levy bill imposes a 100 Ghana cedis annual fee on petrol and diesel car owners starting January 2024. The government aims to encourage environmentally friendly energy use for vehicles aligning with climate-positive actions and carbon offset initiatives. In a response, GPRTU has petitioned Parliament urging a reconsideration of the emission levy bill. Abbas Imoro asserts in a Citi News interview that media reports suggesting a reversal of the fare increase decision are untrue.
We have never withdrawn the statement we made in connection with the not less than 60% upward adjustment in lorry fares. We never on any platform stated that we have reduced the transport fares that we intend slashing on our lorry fares. We never withdrew that statement. So it is not true. It might be any political motivated talks. So we condemn that what we came up with. What we said and we continue saying is that we've written to the Speaker of Parliament, of which they went to recess, they've never resumed. We are waiting. When they resume, we have to even give them some time to hear from them. If we don't hear from them, the leadership will see to it that we have to put in a reminder or go ahead with whatever decision we've taken. This is what we said, but we've never said anywhere that we are reducing or we are withdrawing the statement we made. Yes, we are still insisting and saying that components of which we run transport with has gone up.
Drivers express their support for GPRTU's decision.
We are already overburdened with so many problems, such as spare parts, increase in fuel prices, taxes, and other expenses. So, in fact, it's going to be a very big problem for us. In this case, we are appealing to the government to just scratch off the increment.
For your penny for no so because may drive any as an ambay chairman. First engine cry a ton 45 and they are called 15,000.
We are already suffering, and Malton, we've asked them, as our leaders have said, we think it should do that because already the tires, lubricants and everything is already costly already. And moreover too, we are paying so much that even as a car owner, you don't gain anything again. Because formerly you buy a car within 2-3 years, you have to pay. But now it's getting to almost 7 years before you can even settle yourself, which is not laudable for us. So we think the government has to come in and reduce all those things for us so that we can cope with it.
Meanwhile, GPRTU's Public Relations Officer Abbas Imoro appeals to the public to accept the fare increase if finalized.
They should accept it in good faith, whatever decision we finally come out with. Because we are not going to cheat the public. If I have a car, my son hasn't got a car. My mother, should she be alive? She doesn't have a car. My father be alive? My father is not having a car. My other siblings, if I have a car, they don't have. So all of us, and I have to support them, all of us are going to suffer the same. So if they understand, the public has understand where we are coming from, of course, they should be our contributing factors. They should come to our aid, put whatever they think they can put into it for those in authority to listen to all of us so that we can all live happily.
The leadership of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union has stated that it will go ahead to increase fares by over 60%. Reporting for Citi News, my name is Philip Latte.
Now, the 34th edition of the African Cup of Nations begins tomorrow, January 13, and concludes on February 11 in Côte d'Ivoire. Ghana's Black Stars are set to compete on Sunday, January 14 against Cape Verde at 8 p.m. As a prelude to the tournament, City Sports' Yao Ejaminta presents a report delving into the Black Stars' challenging 1984 campaign, extracting lessons for the current team and assessing their outlook for 2023 AFCON.
The Black Stars of Ghana are preparing to compete in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire, and the team heads into the tournament under a lot of pressure after recording its worst ever performance in the history of the Continental Championship. Dubbed the debacle of Boaké, Ghana's second worst performance at the AFCON happened in 1984, coincidentally in Côte d'Ivoire, when the former French colony hosted the tournament for the first time. So bad was Ghana's performance that former Ghana President Jerry John Rawlings temporarily dissolved the team. 40 years after that episode, Ghana is heading back to Côte d'Ivoire for another AFCON. And perhaps it is apt to go back into time to understand what went wrong. I spoke to 3 people who lived the experience in 1984. The dribbling magician Mohamed Polo, a 1978 AFCON winner and a member of the team. Striker George Al-Hassan, AFCON winner in 1978 and 1982. And also a member of the 1984 group, and legendary sports journalist Ken Bediako. I first asked them to tell me the real story behind the famous assertion that the team was only filled with left-footed players.
We had a very, very, good team, but unfortunately, what happened was the selection. There was, a lot of lefties in the team, and you can't select a whole lefties, in the middle.
So he used 4 left-footers in the team. I was only the right-footer in the forward line. Kofi Abire played at 7. Upokunti 8. I played 9. Polo 10. Francis Kumi 11. And this team, it's only that maybe the system did not work. If the system were to be worked, I don't think a club can beat us.
For Ken Bediako, the tactical challenges stem from administrative mishaps that led to a lack of motivation and too many GFA heads appointed over a short period.
Well, I would say it's multiple sort of mishaps that happened to them, both from the administrative point of view and the players themselves. The players, I think, were not motivated enough. They were in low spirits, to be honest with you, because it's almost some of the players had played as far back as 78, when Kuta Champion had promised to that. But that issue, I'll blame the players too at the time. Okay, it was new. So when they thought this was an opportunity for them to have houses in their hometowns. At that time, there were a lot of these housing estates at Lansuma. So I think the idea was to give them some of those houses. But people said, no, if it's an opportunity for me to get a house, why don't I put it in my hometown? And that was, that took time because you have to get the land size, blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, there was a change. The military headquarters in Kutu Achampon, the head of state, and there was this palace school, they changed it. And to be honest, there was nothing on record. I mean, he had said it. So I'm sure that if he were alive or he were around, he would have honored his promise because the houses were there. So from 1981 to 84, we had about 5 GFA chairmen. I mean, you can't progress. Yeah. So that is it.
Aside being one of the few right-footed players on the team, George Al-Hassan believes the 1984 group was flawed spiritually.
Times when I sit down, I think of what we said in 1982 after winning the cup when we went to J.J. Rawlings' house after we won the cup. So everybody was thinking we'll be giving a gift after winning the cup. But when we went there, he just said there's nothing he can do for us. Only salute. So he gave a salute and thanked us. And then we left. Before we board our bus at the Bema camp, before we board the bus, most of the players were saying, most of them were saying that because they were not happy about the word given to them by the head of state, former head of state. They were not happy. They were thinking he would say something to encourage the team, but and the same people who said the same people who went to Cote d'Ivoire. And we wanted to win the cup. How possible? It's not possible. We have already cursed ourselves before going to play. So how would you win the cup? You cannot.
On the back of winning the 1983 CAF Champions League title, the 1984 AFCON group was unsurprisingly dominated by Kumasi Asante Kotoko players. This came at a time where the Accra Hearts of Oak and Kotoko rivalry was at its peak and deepest. So deep was the rivalry that it seeped through to the Black Stars. The rivalry in the 1984 Black Stars camp was highlighted by the rift between Accra Hearts of Oaks, Mohamed Polo, and Kotoko Sopokunti, who was nicknamed Takwa Polo.
There was a division, seriously. I remember very well. There was a division, with Hearts and Kotoko, issue. You see, these divisions have been there for a very long time, and this is also a contributing factor. That is why we even lost so early, and we couldn't make an impact. That's why it's very, very important. If it comes to the national issue, it should be one team. It should be one gun. It's not about Hearts, Kotoko, or whatever. I had a problem with Opokunti, and I told Opokunti that Opokunti, despite everything, it is my name that you became popular. You use my name as Takwa Polo. I remember very well. So I said, calm down. In everything, there is always a senior. And because, as I said, the manager at that time is Kotoko. So he's always, behind Kotoko players. That's why he has to parade almost Kotoko, players. There is nothing we can do.
Tactical issues, administrative miscalculations, and disunity in camp picked the human nature of a wildly talented group that was quite flawed from the start. But the 1984 debacle marked the start of Ghana's title drought. For 40 years, the Black Stars have failed to win a title, despite playing in 3 AFCON final games in 1992, 2010, and 2015, with each loss more painful than the other and delivered in mysterious circumstances. This has caused many to believe that the Black Stars are cursed. But are they?
I sit down and believe that Ghana will see a cup and leave it and go home. There is something. So we are human beings and we are Africans. Africans, we believe in so many things. So I wouldn't say it's because of the curse, that's why they couldn't win the camp. Maybe it's the way of doing their things, maybe that's why they couldn't win.
I am not that superstitious, even though I wouldn't walk under a ladder. But I think we've grown past those spiritual things. They should try and play as serious as they play for their clubs, and I think Ghana will be okay.
Believing exemplary human traits trumps spiritualism, how far will the Black Stars go on its second AFCON trip to Cote d'Ivoire?
After being starved for you just mentioned over 40 years, is it a sign? Is it a sign? Is it a good sign that these boys, you can open your chest and say no? They have look at their performance. You see, on the facial, you could see that no, these are players playing, the big teams. But when they come together, it doesn't gel.
We've already had this Komoro experience. So I think the coach should by now know what to do, how to handle the players. the time is too short for us to make any changes. I'm sure that you, by now, realize mistakes and then can put up a good team. But to win the cup, I'm not too sure about that.
That was City Sports Yao Ejayminte's report. That'll be all for this edition of Citi Prime News. My name is Zoe Abubeduado, and I was here with
Eno Safo.
Log on to citynewsroom.com for more news.
City 97.3. More variety.